It is day 2 of NFL free agency, and the Denver Broncos have some good news and some not so good news. So what would you prefer I start with? What was that? The good news? Oh, perfect. I love starting with good news. If you're new to this channel, my name is Ben. I break down all things Denver sports. It is awesome to have you aboard. It truly helps me out if you drop a comment, what you think about these moves, and if you like this kind of content, if you would like and subscribe. So we went into last night feeling really high on things, feel very, very good about what we did at the safety position, feel good that we got our kicker back, feel good that we got Locke back, just overall feeling good. And then even going to bed last night, not sure, are the Denver Broncos going to pay too much for a quarterback who just hasn't made it work in Sam Darnold? It was a huge relief this morning to wake up and see the Denver Broncos actually didn't even submit an offer to Sam Darnold and just let the Vikings have him. You saw a lot of kind of negative tweets like, oh, how far the Broncos have fallen that they can't even get Sam Darnold to come. And that's just not the case. We did not put in an offer for him. He maybe was talking to us, but we didn't put in an offer. He didn't pick the Vikings over us. So I'm relieved that the Denver Broncos didn't do that. So we come in today, we're clearing all this cap space. We start the day with an absolute bang, and I was so excited about it because the Denver Broncos made a move and brought in one of the best, if not the best, run-stopping defensive tackle in football. Not surprisingly, not only is this guy another University of Texas player, also massive shout out to whoever corrected me. I said Gig'em because I thought that was like what Texas players say, but I guess that's Texas A&M, like Johnny Manziel, or maybe he did this. But he's another University of Texas player, but also not surprisingly, he is another former New Orleans Saints player. But unlike others, there's actually some merit, not just the fact that he was with the Saints, but this dude is an absolute mauler when it comes to his ability to stuff the run. So actually, when you look at him, PFF had him as the best run stopper last year, and then his midseason grades were awesome, and he even finished the year stronger than he started it. And the Saints, they played Bijan Robinson twice. They played some formidable running teams, and so I feel very, very good about that. And if you look at him just as a run stopper, he's on the same page as the massive defensive tackle who the Raiders brought in, yet we're paying him a fraction of the cost. We're paying him $8 million for 2 years, as opposed to the guy from the Dolphins the Raiders brought in. They're paying him like he's the third highest non-quarterback in NFL history. So I like the deal that we got him in, just like we did with our new safety. We get him locked in at a good price. And so I was feeling extremely excited about this, that 23 times last year on running plays, he did what was called a failure for the offense. So that's usually a drop in the backfield, usually blowing up, sometimes double teams. If you look at his some of his film, you'll be super pumped because the biggest weakness for this Broncos team was our ability to stop the run. So I think we now, the other news of the day was that it does not look like we're going to cut DJ Jones. So to now have Malcolm Roach and DJ Jones at our interior defensive tackle positions, and then if we can have Browning keep coming on like he did on the edge, and then work through Benito and Cooper on the outside, I feel really excited about that. And if Sanders steps up and can maybe do our pass rush like a little mini Vaughn, that could be extremely exciting for our front there. And that we also, I feel good about our secondary with our new safety Texas backfield that we got, with obviously McMillian on one side and Patrick Surtain II on the other. So I'm feeling very, very good at this point. We dodged a bullet. We didn't give huge money to Sam Darnold. We didn't do a retread with Gardner Minshew. We're not going to have Minshew mania. I don't have to grow out a mustache. That's super exciting. And so I was just feeling extremely good. And then all of a sudden, stuff was happening here where all of a sudden we're cutting just crazy amounts of cap room. So we redo several deals, and all of a sudden we're looking at like $50 million in cap space. And I'm like, are we going to go out and are we going to get Josey back? Are we going to go get Danielle Hunter? And this is where things maybe take a little bit of a turn for the worst. And so even though we cleared up $43 million in cap space, we didn't go on to get Danielle Hunter. It sounds like Danielle Hunter just went and signed with the Houston Texans. So I think that's a crazy pass rush there. That's another AFC AFC team that just took a step forward. And so you got Hunter on one side, and then obviously they have that guy they drafted super high, Will Anderson, I believe, on the other side, right? That's terrifying. And I wanted him. I wanted him really bad, and it sounded like Sean Payton wanted him as well. He's off the board, and so then I'm like, all right, well, at least we'll get Patrick Queen. He got signed by the Steelers. Mega, massive deal that the Steelers have room for because they're paying Russell Wilson $1, basically, which is what we all wanted to do here. Like, Russell Wilson, take a better deal so we can beef up our defense, and he did not do that. So Patrick Queen off the board, Danielle Hunter off the board. I'm like, all right, well, at least that means we're going to bring back the Super Smash Brother, and we're going to reunite Alex Singleton and Josey Jewell as our linebacking core. And Josey Jewell went to the Panthers, and that just is an absolute gut punch because I think the Panthers are going to be very, very bad. It does not look like Bryce Young was the answer. They had that Brian Burns guy who's a beast, and they could have re-signed him, and they just let him walk for like a second-round draft pick and a fifth-round when last year he could have gotten multiple first-rounds. So it's like, man, the Panthers are a dumpster fire, and that's where Josey Jewell is going. So I was crazy bummed about that at first until I read this article about why are the Broncos doing all of this, that I thought they cleared this cap space to rebuild, and I would have felt really good about this free agency period if we cleared that cap space and we had a Danielle Hunter, we had a Patrick Queen. I just feel really, really positive right now. But it seems as if perhaps the Denver Broncos are fixing to take on more of this $85 million cap hit in this year and less of it next year. So it's not a clean split of $85 million. You just divide it by 2 and like pay 43.5. I'm not a math guy. It's not like that. Instead, it'd be 53 one year, 32 the next. And so all the prevailing wisdom out there was that the Broncos were going to take the 32 this year and then push the 53 the next year. Well, now that we haven't made those moves, it seems as if we are going to take the bigger hit of that this year, which I think if you truly are thinking about this from a competitive reset standpoint, that we're trying to rebuild this without tanking out and going 4-13 next year, that we're going to try to make a run at the playoffs, but we need to do so by like filling in some gaps and doing exactly what the Detroit Lions did. That we'd be kidding ourselves if we thought the Denver Broncos were going to be Super Bowl champions next year. But I think what's going to happen here is we're going to take that bigger cap hit and have rebuilt this team. Hopefully we find a franchise quarterback in the draft. We're going to look at some of that stuff here in just a second. But if we have the pieces and we have that competitive culture and we build and we equal our win total from last year, I hope we break that 500 mark and are pushing for the playoffs. And then next offseason, we'll only have a $32 million cap hit to hamper us. And really, there's a lot of teams who have that $32 million in dead cap hit. And all of ours will be in Russell Wilson, and that's unfortunate. The other cool thing that might happen, and even though it pains us as Broncos fans, one of the things that we could root for is Russ signed a 1-year deal with the Steelers, kind of a prove-it deal. What would be the best thing for the Denver Broncos is if Russell Wilson balled out of control and then got another long-term deal. Because of the offset language in that next deal, that $32 million in dead cap hit from him would be lessened by that. So that is what we can truly hope for. And even if that doesn't happen, it looks as if the NFL salary cap will go up again, at least by the amount that it went up this year, because there will be more teams trying to stream or more networks trying to stream playoff games. And perhaps the NFL season will add an additional game. There's a bunch of rumors about that as well. And so you could see that $32 million in dead cap hit being lessened if Russell plays well and gets a long-term deal, or the salary cap goes up so much that we don't even really care about that. So that is very, very good news. Other interesting piece of news today is that pro days are what happens after the NFL Combine. NFL Combine, we saw a bunch of these guys run. We didn't see all of them throw, but now each team has their own pro day. And interestingly here, the Denver Broncos have multiple representatives in Oregon right now watching Bo Nix throw. I'm going to link the video to all of his throws on YouTube. Check them out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is that who you want the Broncos to target at 12? And then again, just kind of confirming this point that I made earlier, that it isn't that the Broncos lost out to Sam Darnold or he picked someone else over us, but the Denver Broncos never submitted an official offer. So I think overall, let me know, how are you feeling about the Denver Broncos and this free agency? I felt great about day one. I feel okay about day two. I would have loved to see us land Josey Jewell again. What's going to be the answer there? Are we truly believing that Jonas Griffith, our first move of the offseason, the video I made when I was on vacation was I made the video that the Denver Broncos' first move they made was signing Jonas Griffith, who San Francisco 49ers really wanted to keep on their team. They couldn't hide him on the practice squad. Shanahan was mad that we found him and took him. And really all that has stopped him from playing well is injuries, and not soft tissue injuries or anything like that, fluky injuries that are not necessarily related. So that could be a very exciting thing. If he hits, then not making a major offer for Josey Jewell will end up working out in our favor. Either way, let me know how you're feeling in the comments. Lots of news to come. Make sure you stay right here so you don't miss a single second of it in Broncos country. Let's giddy up. I'm feeling really good about this shot. Oh, robbed. Absolutely robbed.